It's time to play the game. It's the Game of Thrones. Perri is looking at me very confused because she has never watched wrestling and does not know Triple H's theme song.
I was going to say, I wish people could see my face every time you start this podcast.
It's all about the game, how you play it.
Yeah, just stop.
Releasing all the slaves doesn't work well. Guys, we're getting married in a week.
Yeah, oh my God. Only so much time to back out now. I pointed out today that now the only way out is legally through divorce.
Or murder. Murder.
Yeah, that's still a legal issue.
So you're splitting hairs there. Which, by the way, splitting hairs is how they found out you've been poisoned by arsenic. So, yeah, I made that up. I don't know. And actually, by the time you're listening to this, we've still only released the first one as of right now.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah. So, by the time people hear this, we might be divorced.
We might be, yeah. We're at our 1 year anniversary at least.
You might be pregnant.
Oh, God. We might have a baby.
I don't think it'll be that long.
Okay.
But guys, we are here to talk about season 6. We're going to talk about the first 5 episodes. And I hope you guys loved all the Game of Thrones Yo Mama jokes from last episode, because I personally fucking love them. I wish I could think of more things to do like that.
Yeah, they were pretty great. And if you hated them, sorry we put you through that hell for 10 minutes.
And no, if you hated that, I think you deserve to be in hell at all times. That was super clever, and we were awesome.
Some of them were clever.
Some of them were clever.
Some of them we probably could have done without reading.
Yeah, didn't they like deviate into Battlestar Galactica jokes with somebody?
I don't think
somebody
so.
started doing like Lord of the Rings jokes, I think.
Oh, that might have been it.
Battlestar
Whatever.
Galactica,
They're all the same.
Lord of the Rings, tomato, potato. So, babe, you want to take the lead on this?
Oh, gosh.
We'll first be talking about episodes 1 through 5.
Yes. So we're going to take you on a journey to Bravos. Arya is a blind beggar. Every day, the girl for the black and white house. Yes, she's called the Waif.
The Waif.
The Waif.
She's not that waifish.
But that's her character name. I didn't want to tell you to look that up, though, because then, God forbid, you see something.
Every time I look something up, it's like...
It's terrible.
Daenerys is Tyrion's mom. What?
Stop looking things up. Anyway, every day, the Waif, who works for the House of Black and White, who is the many-faced god, attacks her with a stick, Arya, showing her training still continues. Jaqen Hagar eventually allows her to return to the House of Black and White to continue training. After enough time, Arya's sight is restored, and she returns to the training to become, quote, no one.
What is a girl's name?
A girl is no one. Arya is tasked with killing an actress, Lady Crane. I actually like Lady Crane.
I do, too.
Yeah, she... We mentioned she looks very like gypsy-like after. While doing reconnaissance, is that what you're trying to get at there?
Yes, that's what it's supposed to. The little red line was all I needed to know was misspelled.
All right. While doing reconnaissance, she watches a play they put on, mocking her father as she's trying to steal the throne. What?
In the play, they are mocking her father as he is trying to
They're
steal
mocking
the
Arya's
throne.
father. Okay, they're not mocking Ned.
Right, and as a fool who deserved what he got.
Yes, they're mocking Ned, who they portrayed as trying to steal the throne, and
Oh, I got a little confused in my notes here. I put she herself as acted out in the play with her marriage to Tyrion, but that is actually Sansa, obviously.
Yes, Sansa is acted out in the play with her marriage to Tyrion, and the girl is like... She, like, shows her boobs for no reason. I'm not a fan of her.
No, we find out.
Even before we find out what's going on, but that's past this episode.
It took us a while to get to recording this, so we've actually watched ahead just one episode.
Yeah. But even before that, I was not a fan of her. She's annoying. She's a bitch-ass bitch.
Yeah. At Castle Black, that dickhead whose name I can never remember takes command again after Jon's death.
Alliser.
Davos, you know what it is? So many names on this show are just like poor misspellings of popular names. Like Kevin, Kevan.
Oh, is that
George R.R. Martin. By the way, one of those R's is spelled A-R. Go fuck yourself. By the way, as I'm listening as we're watching right now, I saw he just posted another blog Of like, yeah, I still haven't gotten around to making the thing y'all want me to do. Don't worry, I'll live forever. I'm only 70 and obese.
Yeah, we have several friends who are just like, yeah, that last book is just never going to happen.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll be like a VC Andrews situation where she'll have a ghostwriter. He'll have a ghostwriter after he dies.
You know, it would be gnarly, but unfortunately, this seems to be so much of his persona that I probably wouldn't do it. If he just fucking died, they waited a year and everybody was upset, and then it turns out he's had the last 2 books done this entire time and then releases them both.
Oh, yeah. Does he have kids?
I don't think so.
I was wondering if they would take it up.
But I always find that weird, though, like, because fucking Tolkien's son did that, and it's like, you came out of his balls. Like, what does that mean you would know how to do the same thing?
Well, you might be privy to his characters
True.
more and, like, where he wanted the plot line to go. Like, I could understand.
Like, my dad was a leg breaker. If I went into leg breaking, I wouldn't know where to start. The thigh, the leg... Why do they call it the forearm?
But maybe if your dad talked about his strategy of leg breaking, you might have a better...
Now,
like,
son, a pipe wrench gives you just the right amount of torque. My dad worked for the mob.
You act like tons of people don't take up their parents' entrepreneurship after they go. I mean...
We call them high school dropouts. Why do we have it where you call this part of the arm the forearm, but we don't have that for the leg?
The foreleg.
It's not the foreleg. There's the
I
shin.
guess because it's the shin and
the
the calf, but like there's nothing describing the
Then
full...
again, all we have up here is like the upper arm. We can call it the bicep, but it's not just that. But like we have thigh, and at Castle Black, that dickhead nobody likes. Davos and friends hide with Jon's body. Melisandre removes her necklace to reveal that she's a spooky old witch.
Oh yeah, that's dope.
Did I Jesse's guessy that like 4 seconds before it happened?
Yeah, I think you did. Yeah, you're like, she's gonna be old.
Winner.
He's really good.
Chicken dinner.
Jesse's guesses.
It's that wasn't that that was in some show where like somebody's power was like, I have the ability to read the future only like just before it happens.
Well, that's a thing in Mystery Men. Where like
it was a cartoon.
Oh well, the thing in Mystery Men with like he could disappear but only if no one's looking.
Oh.
Or Karen in Mean Girls where her boobs can tell if it's already raining. So that's you. You're Karen.
Hell yeah, fetch baby. Davos convinces a despondent Melisandre to try resurrecting Jon. She does so, but doesn't seem to have much faith. However, it works, and Jon returns to life.
Bow, chicka, wow, wow. I don't know why I would use that noise.
Yeah. I didn't feel it. So this was one of the things that was spoiled for me because my roommate was watching this years ago when it first aired.
Yeah.
And I saw him die and I saw him wake up. So I wasn't really was not dead for long.
Yeah. No. Well, like if you notice with these things, they don't sit on certain things.
Right.
Like you find out Lady Olenna is involved in Joffrey's killing like pretty soon after he dies.
True. But this is like, well, I guess Jesus wasn't dead for that long either. He was dead for a long weekend.
Well, here's the thing too. If it was the opposite and he took forever to come back, then you'd be like, this is dumb. They just made an excuse for him to come back. At least you know it was being worked into the plot.
Yeah. Very true.
I know how you work.
We see Sam dropping Gilly and Little Sam, who they're just straight up now saying is Sam's son, to Sam's hometown of Hornhill. I wrote that note before I actually watched the episode because he does not do that yet. We'll get to that in the next one. Jon executes Thorne, his conspirators, and fucking Ollie.
Fucking Ollie.
Which I was waiting for him to like maybe cut down Ollie's rope to spare him because he's a young boy, but
no, he was in it.
Yeah.
And Jon has to show he's
the boss.
By the way, I don't know if that's how they spelled Ollie when you were writing it up, but if our kid was named Ollie, that is not how it would be spelled.
I would 100% spell Ollie Olly.
Nope.
If you have never seen the seminal masterpiece of 1997 to 1999, Syphil and Ollie, that used to air on MTV.
No.
Sock Puppets was the best.
Well, good thing your cousin took that name, so this doesn't need to be a real debate.
That's right. Welcome to the world, Oliver Henry Wilhelm, my cousin's kid, nephew.
Son.
I guess my second cousin.
Your cousin's nephew.
Well, no, my cousin's kid, my nephew, but not real. He formally gives up his vow to the Night's Watch. And who does he transfer control to? His buddy? I don't remember his name.
Yeah, I don't remember his name either.
Right,
that
not
dude.
important.
That dude that chills with him.
Yeah.
That didn't die
his
by
homie.
the giant.
Sansa, Podrick, and Brienne arrive at Castle Black, and we fucking finally get a Stark sibling reunion.
Could you imagine watching this like in real time and like it would be like 6 years
Well,
or
we've seen. Well, let's do. What are the close calls we've had? We have had.
Arya and John? No, Arya and Sansa got
Right.
close. Arya and Rob got close.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Rickon and John.
Rickon,
Bran,
and
I meant
John.
Bran and
Well,
John.
both of them
Right.
and John. Bran and John a couple of times.
Right, because they have it again beyond the wall.
Yeah, so could you
Craster's.
imagine like watching this and being like, holy shit, like they're finally together.
Right, you're just waiting for a fucking arrow to come out of nowhere and pierce Sansa's fucking heart.
Yeah.
But no, and it's nice, and they even have a moment where he's like, "Oh well, I'm only your half brother," and she's like, "Oh, shut the fuck up." And I'm using the I'm
those
using
exact
a posher accent.
Yikes.
Winterfell is our home.
Oh God.
Tormund immediately has the hots for Brienne.
Oh my God, I love Tormund's thing for Bran. Which,
Tormund loves a big bitch.
well, he says he fucked a bear, if you recall.
I'll do it. We see Littlefinger has returned to the Vale to fetch Robin. He almost has a man killed and is already manipulating Robin for his needs. Ramsay sends Jon a letter demanding he return Sansa.
Wait, he almost has a man killed. What does that
I don't
mean?
know the guy. Who is the guy that's training Robin in archery? I know he's somebody important.
Oh, like one of the people of the Vale that he's higher
So
up.
3 people. There's Robin, there's one of the Vale people who is training Robin, and there's Littlefinger.
Yeah.
Littlefinger shows up, and the guy who's training Robin is like, "We heard of what you done. What the fuck's your problem? Get the fuck out of here." And then he's like, "Well, I don't think so, because I bought Robin a toy."
That's right.
Robin, should I throw him through the Mordor? Yeah, whatever, give me a toy. Like, oh, but maybe we shouldn't. Like, all right, fine, whatever, I don't care. But
That was better fleshed out. Well done.
Yes. Ramsay sends a letter to Jon demanding to return Sansa. Parentheses, despite militarily holding Winterfell, he cannot maintain control of the North without a Stark wife for legitimacy.
I really fucking hate when he's like, give me back my wife to like her brother who she ran away from.
Yeah.
Ugh, ballsy.
So basically, give me back my wife or I'm going to kill all of you. Sansa convinces Jon that they must retake their home of Winterfell. Littlefinger arrives to offer the Vale soldiers to retake Winterfell, and Sansa is fucking pissed. She asks how much he knew about Ramsay, says, "I still feel the things he's done to me, not mentally, standing here right now."
Yeah, this is where Sansa really becomes a different person at this point.
Yeah, it's good to watch her stand up for herself.
Yeah.
Peter apologizes, but she ain't having none of it. And Brienne stands by, ready to cut him down. His name's Peter Baelish.
I know, but it's like, who calls him Peter?
I don't know. Baelish just sounds weird. Sansa tells him to fuck off and never speak to her again. As he leaves, he mentions her great uncle, Brynden Tully, would support her. Jesse's Guessy, it's a trap, which is ultimately the only genre of Jesse's Guessies. If you remember
And he always gets them wrong.
What was the name of Rob's wife?
Elisa, I think.
Talisa?
That's it.
Bitch ass spy's coming back any day now.
Definitely coming back.
She is Ramsay in drag. That's
exactly what
she wants to fuck all of the Stark children and lay claim to the North. So yeah, they have a little council meeting and talk about what they're going to do. And Sansa says, like, I know they're talking about who would and wouldn't support them. And Sansa's like, my uncle Brynden would. He took over River Run. Is that what they said?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
he is in charge of River Run. Like, he took it back.
He took it back. They took it and he took it back.
Yeah.
But again, the fact that Baelish gave that little bit of information just as he's like, all right, I'll leave you alone to get forever, but you might want to wander over here, possibly. Okay, bye. So I think some doings is afoot. Jon and Sansa leave Castle Black to rally troops to support them.
Sorry, I was yawning. Let me finish.
There's no yawning on this podcast.
Yes, there is. There is when we do it at 9 o'clock.
Okay, right here.
No yawning. So now we're back in Winterfell, which is still controlled by the Boltons. Well, it's still controlled by Ramsay.
The surviving.
Yeah.
Bolton.
Ramsay's troops.
Oh, well, we find that out right
Yeah.
here.
Ramsay's troops hunt down Theon and Sansa when they catch them, because if you recall, the last season they jumped off the thing.
Never explained that
Never
they jumped
explained.
off a fucking 70-foot thing.
The show is still good. This is when they start not caring if
Bran
there
can
are
never walk again and
plot
is
holes.
paralyzed. Theon and Sansa.
Must you always talk over me?
Bran falls off and gets fucking paralyzed. Theon and Sansa jump from even higher, don't have so much as a limp.
Yes. So, yes, when they catch them, Brienne and Podrick intervene and kill them all. They send Ed out to... Who's Ed?
I don't know.
They send Ed out... Oh, is that the one that Jon gave it to?
I think that is it.
They send Ed out to recruit Tormund and the Wildlings to protect them. Thorne and others are imprisoned. Roose Bolton gives birth to a son, threatening Ramsay's claim to the throne, even though he's been legitimized technically, but a legitimate son will always have more of a claim than a bastard. So yeah, Ramsay murders his father, then has his stepmother and new brother torn apart by the hounds, which is assumed.
What a fucking drama queen.
Yeah, he's really the worst. I think I hate him more than Joffrey. Brienne and Sansa head towards Castle Black, and on the way, Brienne informs Sansa that she has seen Arya and she is still alive. Theon returns to the Iron Islands. That's going to go over super well.
Super.
Lord Umber asks Ramsay to protect the North from the Wildlings. He reveals his prisoners, Osha, and the still living Rickon, and the decapitated head of Shaggy Dog.
So we're trying to determine how many of the dogs are left. It's just
2.
Ghost and Arya's one is
Nymeria.
somewhere.
Yeah. Nymeria ran away from King's Landing. Osha attempts to seduce Ramsay so that she can kill him, but Ramsay's too quick and kills her instead with a knife to the throat, and then continues peeling his apple with the knife he kills Osha with.
Osha only has one trick up her sleeve, and it's let me suck this dick.
You know what? It usually works. This time it didn't.
I mean, you're getting me to marry you, so I mean, it works.
Hey.
I love you.
Sure.
At the Iron Islands, this is the first time I've been interested by anything happening at the Iron Islands.
Yeah. Well.
It has always seemed like a cul-de-sac of just like nothing important.
It'll come more into play again.
Okay. Before Theon arrives, we witness the return of Theon's uncle, Euron Greyjoy.
That's the noise I have to say to that guy.
Prior to this, the king and Yara. The king and Yara are having an argument where she's more or less saying, like, I'll lead. And he says, we've never had a queen before. And pretty much like, we don't have enough men. Like, I don't care. I'm the stereotypical bad king. And, yeah. So
and then he leaves the castle and gets killed.
Yep. And so Euron, his brother, I guess?
Yeah.
Throws him off into the sea.
Because he even approaches him and he's like, brother, it's been a while, blah, blah, blah.
Okay. Theon arrives and speaks with Yara, vowing to waive his right to the throne for her. At a council, it's a council with like a lot of the soldiers on the Iron Islands. Euron admits to killing the king because he was weak. Yara wants to be queen, but the Iron Islands have never been ruled by a queen, so says like the faithful, I don't know. Euron mocks Theon, saying he has no cock, and said the king had to go and no woman should rule them. The group decides on Euron, who goes through a gnarly ritual that I love, where they dunk him underwater and hold him there, giving a whole, like, you will breathe in the sea and cleanse out your insides. So he basically drowns.
They should have let him just stay there.
Yeah.
He's the worst.
Then they pull him out and leave him on the shore to cough up the salt water and, be reborn, basically. From there, they immediately go to the castle to kill Yara and Theon, only to find out that they have taken the entire Iron Fleet. Euron orders his remaining men to make as many boats as they can pronto. This actually confused me a little bit because it seemed like, despite the fact that it seemed like the group elected Euron as the new leader, it seems like the majority of the people leave with Yara and Theon. There's like 6 guys left with Euron.
Yeah, but like, there's probably other people who aren't a part of this at all.
Yeah, I'm curious if like the Iron Islands are like Hawaii in how they're spread out. Like, are there a bunch of them, or is it like this little shit thing archipelago?
I don't know. We'd have to look on a map. I can do that.
Yeah, you do that real quick. Next is King's Landing. I'll do this slowly so you can pull up a map.
It looks like a bunch of different islands.
Oh. Okay.
Which makes sense since it's called the Iron Islands.
Well, I figured that much, but it's like, I didn't know whether it was like, you know, again, like Hawaii, where it has like 3 main...
The red.
Really not big.
No,
Okay.
not at all. That's why no one takes their threat seriously.
Right.
If you've noticed, this is the one... This is the one family that no one's really like concerned about.
They're a little bit like Quebec. Like, we want to be independent and we want to rule everything else. Like, that's nice, Quebec. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Eat some poutine.
Yeah. Or they like jump on like, you know, what's ideal, like who they think will win and shit.
All right, you want to read King's Landing?
Sure. Jamie arrives with Marcella's body because she just got poisoned. In Dorne, the prince and Trystane are both killed by the Sands in a coup. The High Sparrow threatens Jamie when Jamie gets a little tough with him. Yeah, the High Sparrow fucking sucks.
Yeah.
As most highly religious leaders do.
Unlike sparrows. Sparrows are good people.
Tommen meets with the High Sparrow, but he's still a little bitch. Meaning he won't stand up to the High Sparrow, I
don't
assume.
entirely copy-paste these notes.
Jamie and Cersei attempt to join the small council, but are rebuked by Cersei's uncle, Kevin, who is also Lancel's father.
So they
who's
all,
now
they
in the,
all have
in the
stake. They all have
Sparrows.
people in there. It really boggles my mind that nobody at any point has said, Cersei, you gave this guy all his fucking power, you dumb cow. Like, not even once does anybody really say, like, hey, we're in this because of you realize.
Yeah. So Lady Olenna is also there, and they're furious that Cersei unleashed this nonsense on the Empire. Apparently someone did say something according to your notes.
But it wasn't. It's just like, we're not cooperating with you. Like, we're taking control. Nobody has specifically stated, like, this was you, right?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's kind of reason for that. She's still the king's mother. Like, you don't want to piss her off.
Yeah.
Marjorie's allowed to visit Loras, where she encourages him to go on.
They beat the shit out of Loras.
Yeah. Kevin, Olenna, Jamie, and Cersei put aside their differences and plot to take out the Sparrows.
Which goes off without a hitch in the next episode. In Marine... Okay, yeah, we only have 2 more chunks here. In Marine, Tyrion and Varys witness the ships being burnt by the lower class. Darius and Jorah search for Daenerys, who has been captured by the Dothrakis. We find out the formerly liberated cities have all returned to slavery. To remind the city of their power, Tyrion releases the 2 dragons that have been chained beneath the catacombs. And then we don't see them for episodes. We see Tyrion, just nothing with no dragon payoff.
Yeah. They'll come back.
I hope so, yeah. Varys discovers the masters of the formerly conquered lands have been collaborating and bankrolling the Sons of Harpy revolt.
Once again, a Jesse Guessy you got wrong.
What did I say?
I think you thought the guy that Dario was.
That's right. I thought Dario
strings.
was involved with the Sons of the Harpy. Tyrion offers the previously conquered slaveholder lands a deal. Slavery can continue, but must be extinguished in 7 years. Everyone is unhappy.
Or everyone gets bad luck.
Or exactly. I'll break a mirror and this place will really be fucked. You think 3 dragons is bad. Wait till you have 3 dragons and bad luck. Don't be stepping on a crack. And breaking
your mother's back.
Brandon's back again. Everyone is unhappy, but he's making the difficult peace with the great quote, "We don't make peace with our friends, only our enemies." And as somebody who has been getting in arguments with people all week on the internet, because that's what I do, yeah, that's fucking consensus building. Unfortunately, the only way to get towards some decent thing if you have no power is making concessions that if nobody's happy, it's a good deal.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's such is life.
And that's why the minimum wage should be reduced to $5.25 an hour.
Oh, God.
I don't mean any of this shit. Dario and Jorah find Daenerys in Vaz Dothrak, but Daenerys tells them they can't take on the Dothraki. She has to meet with them to decide whether she'll be killed or allowed to live out her days with the Khal widows.
Depressing as fuck.
Yes, that's what happens.
And they love it. They love that the white bitch is just eating shit with them.
And we actually also saw before this where they were just gonna like fucking rape her, and then she revealed like, I'm a Khaleesi. Like, oh, we won't rape you then. Like, phew, okay. Well, not so fast.
Yeah.
But so when she steps in for the judgment, the men discuss raping and killing her. Where I use some like really weird thing. Like, did you think she has white pussy hair too? Like, I only saw that once with her grandma. It was fun though. Like,
Yeah.
these guys, fucking horses
That's
and shit.
are crazy.
Yeah. But she surprises them by speaking to Thraki. Everybody always forgets she can speak to Thraki. And vowing to kill them all. They laugh. She turns over the fire lamps and torches the place. They try to escape, but the doors have been bolted by Dario and Jorah. The Dothraki people see their leaders burned alive and a naked, unscythed Daenerys emerge from the flames unscathed, whom they all bow to.
She's kind of a one-trick pony, too, but that works.
That's a hell of a pony.
Yeah.
Jorah tells Daenerys that he has the grayscale. He goes to leave, but she orders him to find a cure and then return to her. Which I still find funny, because it's always like, so I'm afraid I must leave you. Like, wait! No, you're still leaving, because that's just gross. But when it's fixed, you can come back. Like, he's kind of hoping, like, you know, like, no, wait, sleep with me before you leave.
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, no, you're still... Ew.
I don't think Jorah would have ever put her in that position, though. He would never want to risk giving her grayscale.
Grayscale would be a hell of an STD.
Yeah, that would suck.
So you only got it on your privates.
That's not how grayscale works, honey.
And then you needed, like, King's Blood penicillin to clear it up.
Okay. Where are you going with this?
I don't know. I'm just trying to think of fictional diseases as STDs. I mean, Frodo got sick from getting penetrated. Maybe that was all.
Oh, God. Just end it now.
An illusion. Well, with penicillin, the only way to end it now for certain is abstinence, kids. Kinvara.
That is true.
That's true. Kinvara, a red priestess, much like Melisandre, argues with Varys, whom she knows very, very much about. Which, it doesn't seem like she has any knowledge. She's using, like, I talk to God shit.
Yeah.
She says, however, the religious class will support Daenerys as queen.
And she means her religious class, because there's a lot of religions going on.
Right, particularly the fire.
That's what I mean, because don't forget the Sparrows are taking over King's Landing. They're not about to support fucking Daenerys.
Again, I'm still curious how many of these are, well, I know the Sparrows, they worship like the seven. So it's not like Jews, Muslims, Christians, where we all are, like, our God is all the same God. We just have other bolts and shit that go in here. Whereas in this, I feel like the Sept worships entirely different than what the Fire God is. Unless the Fire God people worship one of the Septs over the other.
They do, yeah, so I think...
I would Google this, but again, like, you know...
I think what's going on is, like, there are some shared gods, but, like, that's why people, like, say, I swear by the old gods and the new. Because, like, the Winterfell people, I think they only worship the old gods, but they also acknowledge that, like, other people have other gods. So, there's an insane amount of religions going on in there. But, yeah, I do think they, like, overlap a little bit. Okay. But then you have, like, the faceless god.
True.
So, like, there's a lot going on.
Wait, is the faceless god the same as the many-faced god?
The many-faced god, not the faceless. Sorry. The many-faced god.
Both better than the several-faced god. We all agree he was never, like, that petered out pretty quickly. Dozen-faced god had a better run than that.
Oh, God.
All right, you want to read the final thing?
Yeah, so we're north of the wall right now. Bran continues to learn from the three-eyed raven via warging. He sees a vision of his father, aunt, and a young, mentally capable is questionable, Hodor in Winterfell many years ago.
And his name is Willis.
There.
And he seems like, he doesn't seem like he does
he's
now.
Simple, as they would describe him, probably.
I don't even think he came off as simple. He just came off as like an awkward.
Really? I kind of thought there was like an issue there.
He struck me as exactly like Chris Farley, and Chris Farley does not strike me as simple.
Okay. Yeah. No, I always thought, because that's kind of why I think what happened. Like, no kid, I don't think a kid of like normal intelligence would have been like changed like that. Okay, we'll get there. So Bran has another vision of his father and Howland Reed dishonorably defeating a Targaryen King's guardsman. That's hard to say.
Yeah.
Though Ned always claimed to have taken the man on single-handedly.
Yeah, we basically see that this guy had like Ned dead to rights, and then his buddy came up and stabbed him in the back, and then Ned finished him off.
Brandon learns that the children of the forest created the White Walkers to defend them from mankind. Yeah, that went terribly wrong.
Yeah, like, oh, I know. Let's... Man, we sure don't like these Russians. You know what we should do? Let's send arms to the Afghanis. Who's that? Mr. Bin Laden? Yeah. Pleasure to be in business with you, sir.
Yeah, pretty much. And we actually get to see some of the children of the forest. A child of the forest. Brandon sneaks back into visions with the three-eyed raven as a guide.
My mistake, without the three-eyed raven. Like, everybody's asleep.
Yeah.
Well, he actually, just seeing the visions where he's seeing his father again, and he's in Winterfell, which he hasn't seen, so he's kind of like, he says, if he's like, I wish I could just stay.
Right, yeah. No, it's like Harry Potter and Dumbledore. But while he's doing that, because he's not really aware of what he's doing, a White Walker sees him and then touches him. So that's the first problem. The White Walker is like, oh shit, because he thinks he's invisible, and the Night King turns right fucking towards him, and it's really creepy. So the White Walker touches him, and now they know where he is, which. This place was previously protected from them and the whites, and now they can enter.
Right, because they pierce somebody inside by getting their touch.
Exactly. So now with this infiltration, they will be able to pierce their sanctuary. They arrive and kill the children and the three-eyed raven. As they attempt to escape, Bran is still in the Winterfell vision, where he wargs into Hodor in that timeline. Therefore, the visions are not merely projections. They can actually have effects on the past. They come to a door, and Summer pulls Bran and tells Hodor, hold the door, and repeatedly says, hold the door, while Hodor holds the door with all his might as the Walker army breaks through and tears him to pieces. In the past vision with Bronn, we see the young Hodor, Willis, have a seizure as his mother tends to him. He twitches and spasms, screaming repeatedly, hold the door, until his brain function is damaged enough to garble the words to a repeated Hodor, Hodor, Hodor.
Such a fucking... That might be one of the best scenes in the series.
That's one of the best episodes. So that's why early on I remember you being like, oh, okay, I'm over like he could only say his own name. And I'm like, oh, wait.
It paid off.
I knew it would.
Not to mention, I feel like so many of the big scenes are like action-based, or they don't really reveal anything. Like, if I'm thinking of like the coolest scenes, we think of the Red Wedding, which, you know, very action betrayal-based. Obviously the poisoning of Joffrey, the Battle of Blackwater. This is the first one that really like illuminates a lot of things, because we instantly find out about Hodor's origins and the true nature of these visions being like, you know, it's not like, you know, we're looking like, no, they are genuinely back in the past and can affect things.
Right, and we're going to be getting more of that, because the whole series is like a culmination of like the end point, you know? So like you're not going to have like too many of those kinds of reveals until the story is further along, because they're building into that. And that's why I'm like always on your ass, like pay attention, because there's so much that seems completely unimportant that becomes like a major piece of information by the end.
Well, we already know that in the next episode, the people who show up, which we're at the end of this, and it's going to go right into that, where the guy shows up to save... Is that girl's name Summer, or did I write that wrong? The girl helping Bran.
Oh, I thought you meant the dog. That's why I was confused.
The dog? Wait.
The dog's name... His dog's name is Summer.
Oh, and Summer dies, and that's the last... Well, not the last, but that's why...
Yeah, Summer dies in there. Oh, God, what is her name?
I don't know.
I can't remember, but it's not Summer.
Okay. But, I forgot what the fuck... the person who comes after this to save them is somebody who was seen in the first season and not since. The fucking uncle, what's his name?
Brandon, I think.
Brandon?
Uncle. Shit, why can't I remember his name?
It's Unky Herb. He owns the car company.
God, why can't I think of his name?
Bran, I need you to design a new car that's gonna make me whatever our currency is here, a million. Benjen. Have they mentioned what the currency is called?
No, I don't think so.
Plot hole. Get on it, George R. Martin.
But yeah, that's like a big deal because, and then I had to remind you, he's the one who was sent out on a White Walker mission, and his horse came back solo. Mm-hmm. And at that point, it seems like incidental. Like, okay, yeah, like
they mention it, they bring it up again enough times that they're gonna do something. But like, this is somebody I had. She said, "You recognize him?" Like, not even a fucking little.
Yeah, that's why I'm like, that is why I was like annoying when I'm like, no, you need to get off your phone and pay attention because these things are not going to be as big of a reveal if you don't remember them.
Right.
So.
Okay. So that's the end of this one. We'll be back with the second half of season 6.
Wait, what storyline are you liking the most? I mean, I feel like if we just do summaries, then.
Right. True. Okay, you know what? I will go through the sections here, and I will rank where I'm liking them.
Okay.
Bravo's is getting a little more interesting, but I don't care. I want to know what Arya's doing with this guy, or just fucking leave this guy.
Yeah, that's not my favorite storyline either.
Like, you know, it's also one of those things where it's like, just because of storytelling structure, like, you can't make me afraid that the waif is going to kill Arya. There are no stakes there because absolutely fucking not is that going to happen.
I mean, you'd say that, but, like, there have been, like, dumber people killing bigger people. Mm. No one's safe in this show.
Right.
Mira. That was the girl's name.
Mira. Okay. Castle Black's kind of interesting. You know what I'm actually interested in most? I'm interested in Jon and Sansa returning to Winterfell. Mm. I want to see that. Iron Islands, that got a little more interesting now that they got rid of, like, the most annoying guy. King's Landing is interesting, but again, that gets way more interesting in the next episode. But that felt like it was spinning its wheels, but we had a very definitive, like, turn on the old wheel of power there. Marine, the stuff with her and Dothraki was cool, but it's definitely at this point, like...
Move on.
Like, they're just throwing wrenches because they need a reason for her to not be ready to go over to Westeros yet. They've told me everything I could know about her. Yeah, the Beyond the Wall stuff is very interesting.
Yeah, did we get... which is funny, because initially, you weren't loving the White Walker storyline.
No, I was not. And I think the three... Well, I told you, obviously, Max von Sydow played the Three-Eyed Raven, right. And I'm a big fan of his. Go watch The Seventh Seal. And it was just interesting seeing somebody leveling up, because, Bran was paralyzed, and we learned he could warg. Then he kept seeing the Raven, and now he's becoming the Raven, basically. Did
we learn Benjen's story at this point, or was that the next episode?
I don't even think we learned in the next episode. It's not really explained. It's just that's who he is. And he said something like, they left me for dead. And,
So we didn't find out how they brought him back?
Did he die and somebody brought him back to life?
Yeah. So
I don't know.
Okay. I'm sorry if I end up spoiling it. It's not that big of a deal. But yeah, the White Walkers stabbed him, and then they children
saved him with dragon glass.
Yeah, the children. Basically they did what they did to the White Walkers.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So yep.
All right. So
still love Tyrion.
I want him to be able to do more. Although it's fun watching them do their political thing in a new area, especially since the whole thing with Tyrion was he was not given power, yet he seemed the most capable.
Right.
Out of the whole family of psychopaths and sadists and sibling fuckers, he seemed to be best.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, next time we might be married.
Yep. Bye.
Love you, baby.
Love you too.
And we're back, not only for more Game of Thrones, but guys, in between the first half of this episode and the second, me and Perri went and got fucking married, y'all.
Yeah, we did. Wow.
Don't interrupt your husband,
I will
Perri.
Do whatever I want now. You're legally obligated to me.
I know. I'm stuck with you. So, yeah, it is May 6th, 2021, and we have been married for 5 days now. And we had a wonderful wedding.
Yes, absolutely perfect.
Absolutely perfect. Could not have been better.
Have the best people in our lives.
Yes, we do. I want to thank God.
Most importantly, God.
Satan, number 2.
Hell Satan.
Hail him. And yeah, both of them tag team to make sure we got good weather and good guests on our wedding day.
Mm-hmm.
But
and good food.
And good food. That's right. So
and all vegan.
And it was all vegan. So it was
Oh
definitely thank Satan extra for that one. Everyone knows Satan's a vegan, aside from human flesh. So let's get into it. Talk about season 6, the second half. We're going to do this a little bit differently due to all the events in the final episode, Winds of Winter. Instead of doing our usual summary by place, we're going to be doing that, but only through episodes 6 to 9, and then we're just going to wrap up like the entire episode and talk about shit that happened there.
Okay, sounds good.
Starting Beyond the Wall, Mira and Bran escape the cave where they are attacked by whites, but they are saved by a mystery man, Benjen, the missing uncle with a riderless horse from 5 seasons ago?
Yeah.
I don't know how we're supposed to remember. You and I talked about this, and I wanted to talk about it on the podcast a little bit, how some of these names are just so fucking lazy. Like, Sansa is cool. Arya is cool. Daenerys is cool.
All the girl names are cool.
All the girl names are pretty cool.
Cersei.
Yeah, Jamie's pretty lame. I was almost named Jamie.
Yeah, thank God.
Because my mom wanted a girl and didn't hide it. But now we get names like Benjen, where it's like, oh me, oh my, you missed the me. Like, that is clearly Benjamin without a fucking letter. We have Uncle Kevin, Kevan. Suck my dick, George R.R. Martin. George R.A.R. Martin. I feel like we did this on a previous episode because this is actually ringing a bell. Sorry if I've said the same thing, but it's annoying every time I say it.
Anyway.
He was turned... Benjen was turned by the walkers, but turned back by the children using dragon's glass. So, you can stop people from changing into walkers or the dead. Did they turn to walkers or just the living dead army?
You mean when the White Walkers attack them?
Yeah.
Yeah, just the living dead army.
Okay. Well, but that's the thing. So, they attacked Uncle Benjen, and he was going to turn it into just the living dead army.
Yeah.
But they stopped it with dragon glass.
Because I think, like, they could change who they want, I think, into White Walkers. Because remember the baby, how they, like, touched it and the eyes went blue? Right. Like, I think that became a White Walker, not a white.
You want to read about the awkward...
Oh, gosh, the awkward dinner party
at Horn Hill.
of Game of Thrones. Sam, Gilly, and Little Sam arrive at Horn Hill. The mother and sister are excited for the new baby and Gilly, but Sam's dad is a dick. Yes, he is. At dinner, Gilly stands up for Sam and reveals herself to be a wildling.
He's a better warrior than you ever were, you piece of shit. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Fuck you and your...
She really defends her man. I love it.
Yeah, but then she immediately like, and also I'm a wildling, those people you hate.
Yeah. Papa Tully throws a bitch fit, says he'll care for the girl and the baby, but Sam must leave.
Which is honestly a fair kind of like, you've insulted me in my own home. I will not tolerate this. I'll merely let you and the child live here forever. But your boyfriend's not allowed back.
I mean, he's horrible to Sam, though.
He is. He's a real piece of shit.
And Sam says, fuck that. And in the middle of the night, leaves with Gilly and Lil Sam, taking the Valyrian steel sword with him. The sword that his dad said he could never have, even though it was his rightful.
Yeah, I do like that Sam's kind of badass. Like, you know, I'm not going to, like, challenge you. Like, yes, I do deserve it, Dad. He's just like, I'll just steal it.
Yeah, exactly. They travel to the Citadel in Old Town for Sam to become a maester.
So, yeah, interesting. We're getting the less, important stuff out of the way.
Yeah.
In Bravos, Arya attempts to poison Lady Crane, but at the last moment saves her and reveals the assassin. Arya retrieves a needle. The waif rats her out, and Hagar. Again, stupid name, clearly just supposed to be Sammy Hagar.
Jockin's his first name.
Jockin? I don't...
That guy. That guy with the fire hair.
Yeah. He says to kill Arya. The waif hides as an old woman and stabs the shit out of Arya, but she survives. This is where the show's starting to bother me a little bit, where, like... if the fucking Hound farts on somebody, they drop dead, and then Arya just takes like 9 stabs to the stomach.
I agree with that. And what I will say is like season 7 could have gone either way, but I think because season 8 was like so not good, it kind of ruined season 7.
Well, this is season 6 we're talking about.
Oh yeah.
Shows
Well,
that you know.
into yeah, you
Right.
get what I'm saying though.
But there's cool stuff happening still, but I'm starting to see some of the seams, unless there's like pays off with like Arya has a punctured uterus and can't bring in air or something.
Well, like, I mean, I feel like this isn't really a spoiler, but like there is another scene where Arya probably should be dead and isn't. Like,
Not this season. Have I seen it yet?
No. But I'm just saying a similar thing happens where it's like, why are you not dead?
Right. So I get you're one of the protagonists, but come on.
Yeah. It's a bit much. Okay, so anyway, she's stabbed.
Arya makes it to Lady Crane, who convinces her to leave the city and become an actor. But before this can happen, the waif arrives and kills Lady Crane, and Arya runs away. Despite getting the ever-loving fuck beaten out of her, Arya is cornered by the waif in a dark room lit only by a candle. Taking advantage of her previous experience of blindness, she uses needle to slice the candle out and kills the waif in the dark.
Yeah.
She puts the waif's face in the Hall of Faces and confronts Gar, declaring herself to not be no one but Arya Stark. Later, she uses a face to feed Walder Frey his sons baked into a pie, then reveals herself and cuts his fucking throat.
Yeah.
Finally, that asshole.
And it was Arya, as it should have been.
As it should have been.
Redeeming.
Which, I'm curious, where I'm only going to read the title of this next section. Fuck it, it's a short and I'll read it. It's very curious what's happening with Arya's list, because while she's making her way down, isn't it only Cersei left on the list at this point?
I think so.
Well, guess what? It ain't, because the motherfucking Hound is still alive. Didn't see it coming.
The one time that someone doesn't die on screen that you're not like, oh, they're coming back to life.
Yeah, because they showed him gruesomely beaten enough, and they are putting a little oomph behind it of like, you know, the fire god wants you to do something, that's why you lived. But, yeah, so...
I have an issue with the fire god thing later.
Okay. We haven't seen it yet.
No, it's part of a story.
So, the Hound is living a simple life with people building a church, which I believe are called septs here. Rogue Brotherhood members threaten and slaughter the group. The Hound kills them where he finds them, coming across the Brotherhood without banners about to execute the men, which the Hound assists with. There's actually a fun haggle of like, I want them all. Like, you can have one. I'll take 2. Like, fine. And then he goes down, like, you can't stab him. So basically he gets to participate in, like, kicking the legs out. So, Perri, say somebody murders me.
Okay.
And then you find them and capture them.
Okay.
How do you execute them?
Oh, shit.
If you say, I don't believe in the death penalty, I will leave you right now.
I don't even know. It's not that, but I don't know if I could like physically inflict harm on someone.
They're completely tied up in a way that they cannot get out and harm you.
No, I'm not even concerned about that. I think like it would fuck with me, so I think I would ask someone to do it for me because I wouldn't want to think about your death and associate it with me killing someone. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean?
See,
but like you're asking a woman that. I think a woman's gonna have a little different.
Oh God, that gave me the weirdest memory. It actually popped up the other day. So, you know the Smashing Pumpkins song "Disarm." Mm-hmm, I remember listening to that probably at like 10, 11. Driving around with my beloved me mom, my grandmother, who was probably late 70s. And there's the line of, you know, there's a killer in me, there's a killer in you. And I was explaining the song to my grandma, and I said, yeah, I just find that so cool how, like, yeah, that's the truth. Because, like, deep down, we're just like, we're all as good as our best impulses, grandma. And she's like, there's no killer in me. Well, what do you say? Like, Jesse, there's not a killer in me. And guess what? When a certain family member got really drunk and threatened to murder me, rest in peace, Dad, me mom waited on the front lawn with a fucking butcher knife ready to take out a fucking son-in-law if he got near me. So, guess what, me mom? Thank you. And there is a killer in you.
That's true. Shit,
I'm going to timestamp that 10 minutes. That's a great clip.
I I would probably I'd get John Curry on it.
Oh.
That's what I was thinking.
John Curry is my friend that Perri has still not met, despite being with me for 2 years, who I have flat out said, if I ever needed to bury a body, John Curry is the man I call. Very good friend of mine. We've been to battle and back. A lot of drunk driving in my early 20s. Guys, don't do it because it's really irresponsible. It's just kind of a lot of fun.
Oh, God.
Later, the Living Dead Man. What is the Living Dead Man's name with the eye taken out in the Brotherhood Without Banners that keeps getting brought back to life?
Barrack.
Barrack. Bring me back to life, Barrack. Says, wake me up inside. He tells the Hound he only lives because the gods willed it, and that he still has a part to play.
Ooh.
All right, you want to take this next section? This
my.
one, it's long.
Okay, so now we're in King's Landing. Jamie and the Tyrells storm the Sept to free Marjorie and Loras, only to find that Marjorie has converted not only herself, but Tommen as well, and has allied with the Church Sparrow. Oh, yeah, we're still in this.
Fuck Tommen, man.
Oh, yeah, he has no backbone whatsoever.
None.
He was too young.
And you could see Marjorie was kind of upset because Marjorie was like was just doing this to get the fuck out of it. But now she turned Tommen.
Yeah. So Tommen strips Jamie of Kingsguard and sends him to Riverrun to assist Walder Frey in retaking the castle from Brynden Tully because yet again Walder Frey needs help recapturing everything that's his.
Yep.
So after the High Sparrow threatens her, Marjorie convinces Lady Olenna to return to the High Garden, wink wink, slipping her a sketch of a rose showing she is still on their side.
That's right.
Olenna gets the hint at Marjorie, that Marjorie's tricking the Sparrow, and she goes back. Mm. So Jamie parlays with Brynden. Wow, that looks weird. Brynden Tully after the phrase
again, clearly Brandon, but no. Let's just throw a Y in there. I'm going to go eat a sandwich and not write a book. George R.R. Martin, quote, end quote.
Yeah, so Brynden, they threaten to execute his son, who is Catelyn's brother, Edmure.
Who married
or it's
the
not
Frey.
his son, I think it's his nephew. I thought it was his nephew. Anyway, So where did I go?
Brynden Tully won't budge. I just put a little note
he
there.
won't budge.
Yeah, Brendan's pretty cool, even though we get like no time with him.
Yeah. And Brienne also tries to talk with him, but fails. Jamie speaks with Brendan's son, Edmure. Yeah.
Oh, that's him.
He tells Edmure to go to Riverrun, take control, and surrender, or his young son will be killed.
Wow. I like that.
I really stuttered over that one.
I like that we're starting to see Jamie as a scumbag again, which is one of the annoying parts over the course of the series. Is like, it seems like a lot of these characters, like, oh, we're gonna have to feel bad for Cersei season. Like, oh, let's kind of like Jamie a little. Like, he pushed a child out a fucking window because he was butt fucking his sister. Fuck Jamie. I don't care how nice he was to Brienne.
All I'm gonna say is just wait.
Wow, we see him get to be a little meanie again.
I'll just say maybe you'll like season 8 more than I think you will.
Unless he cuts off Cersei's head and skull fucks it, I don't think Jamie can do a face turn.
Okay, we'll get there. Okay, so
Jesse's guessy. He cuts off.
All right, where am I? Jamie speaks with Brendan's son, he tells Edmure to go to Riverrun, take control, and surrender. His young son will be killed, and Edmure does just that, and Brendan apps out to go out fighting, but not before assisting Brienne and Podrick to escape.
Yeah, that's where we see really cool. Like, come with us. Like, I'm old.
Yeah,
I haven't had a good sword fight in a while.
Yeah. Unlike someone who we'll see who has never fought. After Riverrun is captured, Jamie sees Brienne and Podrick rowing down the river in waves and allows them to escape because he's got a soft spot for Brienne. While this is going on, Tommen abolishes trial by combat, meaning that Cersei can't go through with the plan of having the Mountain fight for her, and she's fucked. She
is fucked, which, again, a little convenient, but Tommen's a little bitch boy, so we accept it. In Marine, Daenerys mounts Drogon when he returns and gives a rousing speech to the Dothraki that they will cross the narrow sea and take Westeros. Yeah, bow, down, down, bow, 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 down.
Oh!
We saw wolves yesterday, and that's the noise they make. The
Yep,
wolves.
they make howly noises.
Shout out Townsend, wherever you are. You're at the Lakota Wolf Preserve. That's exactly where you are.
And Daltrey.
And Daltrey. We see Varys depart for a secret mission after the events of the final episode will become epic in scope. Unfortunately, shortly after he leaves, the slavers return with a fleet of ships and start firing on the city, leaving Tyrion, Grey Worm, and Missandei to hide in the pyramid. Just as they panic, Meereen returns with Drogon and the Dothraki.
Do you mean Daenerys?
Who? Yes. Daenerys returns to Meereen with Drogon and the Dothraki, where she sells seashells by the seashore. 3 slave masters meet to negotiate Daenerys' surrender. Instead, she mounts Drogon. The other 2 dragons join in, and they burn down the fleet.
Dracarys.
2 of the 3...
Dracarys.
Well, I'm glad that we're seeing this, because I know early on in the series, they're like, whoever has dragons rules the world. Like, fucking how? But you realize now, like, as weapons.
Yes, everyone's terrified of them.
They're the only version of...
Mass destruction.
Right. They're the only version of airborne attack.
Yeah, that too.
2 of the 3 slavers are killed by Grey Worm, with the 3rd being allowed to live to tell the slavers they are finished. As this happens, the Dothraki come into action and kill the sons of the Hoppy.
Finally.
Later, Theon and Yara meet with Tyrion and Dany. Yara gets some flirting in with Dany, which is great. Are you laughing at that sentence, or my computer not working? A little of both.
Yeah.
I just clicked 4 times, and it just opened, 6 separate tabs. This is one of those computers where, the trackpad, if you want to left-click on anything, it's, the size of a clitoris in the bottom left. But if you breathe, it's open new tab?
Yeah, it was really not.
You need all these options.
You were being real smooth about it at first, and then it just kept going.
Later, Theon and Yara meet with Tyrion and Dany. Yara gets some flirting in with Tyrion. Dany, and Tyrion mocks Theon for his previous mistreatment.
Ew, Yara and Tyrion flirting.
He's right. As a comedian, people tend to go to their go-to jokes. So if you have a midget, a little person, there's only going 5, most people know. They offer their allegiance to Dany if the Iron Islands can remain independent. Dany agrees. So now you'll get this big one, and I'll get the next big one. Oh gosh! Because now we go to Winterfell and the long-awaited battle of the bastards.
Oh God! What is that supposed to be? Wrestling or?
No, that's an old radio thing, WMMR.
Oh, that's what you're trying to do. Got it.
Right.
Okay.
You might as well be driving a Y100 Beetle.
So we're back in Winterfell. Jon and Sansa attempt to recruit soldiers to take back Winterfell, but have troubles. Lady Lyanna, fucking love Lyanna, named after Ned's sister of House Mormont, which is Jorah's house, and she's his cousin, is an adorable 10-year-old who is the leader of her house. Jon and Sansa convince her to dedicate men to their forces. This is still not enough because I think it's 60 men.
All right.
Secretly, Sansa swallows her pride and writes to Littlefinger requesting knights from the Vale.
Oh, because it comes up a lot, Mormont is also referred to as Bear Island.
Bear Island, yep.
Yeah.
And that's their sigil. Ramsay and Jon meet before the battle, and Jon offers to battle Ramsay one-on-one, which he declines the offer. Of course he does. Ramsay also... Why did Jon think that would work?
Yeah, that was
I hate when they do that.
Let me conveniently place this here just to make sure it comes up again. But it's also oh, well, what do your soldiers say? So it pays off in that way. What do your soldiers say when they know you sacrifice their lives?
Yeah.
And then it's only really played off in the little poochies coming up.
Ramsay also offers the head of Shaggy Dog to show he has Rickon. I don't know why they buy that as Rickon must be alive. He shows him his decapitated dog's head.
So we need to do a quick tally. Now that Shaggy Dog is dead, isn't it Ghost and Arya's direwolf in exile? Those are the only 2 left.
Yep.
All the other dogs are dead.
Yep. Ramsay Oh. Sansa and Jon later talk, and Sansa says Jon must not let him be trapped by Ramsay, though he will try. She also concludes there's almost no chance that Rickon will live, because let's be real, Sansa knows what Ramsay is better than Jon does.
And I like her. I like that they're showing Sansa has a role to play here, where Jon seems to be a good leader, but he
needs her.
Right, and that's a brutal, steely-eyed look in the mirror of it. We're not getting Rickon back. I know everybody loved him so much as he had no purpose for 6 fucking seasons.
Yeah, no, he was pointless. He wasn't even in the last one.
Yeah.
So they all meet up. I'm getting there.
Okay.
They all meet up in the middle. Ramsay says he'll let Rickon leave, but he has to run to Jon to the other side, and he just starts running, and Ramsay starts shooting arrows and finally hits Rickon, and thus the battle of the bastards ensues, and Rickon is dead. So, they're fighting, but eventually the Starks get encircled by shields and spears, and it appears all hope is lost. Yeah, that was a really wicked strategy. Just like the shield and just like move in, stab.
Yeah, like
sit down.
Knowing that they have their forces overwhelmed, they just get them in a point where they can't advance, and then they send in the cavalry and the shields to just completely have them boxed in, and then literally just move in on them like fucking like a vice with the spears and the shields.
It's crazy. Then suddenly, as is with Game of Thrones, the Knights of the Vale arrive and destroy the people encircling them. So Ramsay's people. Tormund personally bites out the throat of Karstark, and Jon is nearly stampeded, but climbs a hill of bodies to find an undefended Ramsay.
What you gonna do, bitch?
Yeah, it's pretty wild, like, in the beginning of the battle, too, like, Jon just, like, being completely, like, ready to, like, go, and all these, like, horses come around him. And just, like,
yes. As he runs out to meet Rickon, Rickon obviously dies, so he ends up holding him there, and then, like, the cavalry just come charging at him, so all you see in the foreground is Jon ready to take on the horde entirely by himself coming in the background. And just as they're about to get to him, his men come up from behind him. And really cool battle scene.
Yeah, it is. They do a good job on the battle scenes.
Yes, they do.
So Ramsay flees to Winterfell, where an awesome giant 1-1, that's his name.
According to Wiki, his name is 1-1.
Smashes the gates open, covered in arrows like a pincushion. He continues fighting until Ramsay sends an arrow through his eye. Yeah, that was a bummer.
Yeah.
Ramsay says he has reconsidered Jon's one-on-one offer.
Pussy.
Oh, I thought you actually called for a second. I was like, oh no, he's dying. He fires several arrows at Jon, which he deflects, and with one of his men's shields, and nearly beats Ramsay to death before stopping at Sansa's glance. Sansa has Ramsay tied up in his kennel, and Ramsay says his dogs are too loyal to kill him, but Sansa points out his cruelty over loyalty ethos. Yes, they are loyal, but then you starve them. In other words, he couldn't have been an effectual leader, but he was too much of a sadist and turned away those who would have fought for him.
See, we already talked about this too. We're just like, he could have just fucked Sansa, but he had to torture her and shit.
Yep.
Sansa would have been fine with that. Wouldn't be ideal, but like, he fucked everything up by just being too much, like, he just needed to get his rocks off.
Well, it's like Joffrey.
Yeah, exactly.
But then the dogs ripped him to shreds. And he was bragging earlier on the battlefield about how all the dogs were starving because he hadn't fed them in 7 days.
Oh, yeah. Real dickhead.
Yeah, that really worked out in your favor.
Okay, so that is the summary. And now we get to the final episode, of which there is a lot to talk about. The Winds of Winter. Before her trial, Cersei destroys the Sept of Baelor by wildfire, killing the High Sparrow, the Tyrells, Lancel, and Kevin Lannister, hundreds of nobles, and the Faith Militant. So, the way this episode opens is we see the trial of Loras. They're coming to get Cersei from the Red Keep, and she says, no, fuck y'all. They say, all right, well, we're going to take you anyway, and the fucking mountain just, like, tears a dude in half.
Yep.
So they leave and they come back saying she won't leave. Loris's trial happens. He confesses to everything, and in order to have mercy, volunteers to join the Sept. He gets the symbol carved into his forehead. Marjorie is very upset with the Sparrow for this, saying, like, you said you would let him go, no harm would come to him. He's like, but he's doing the good thing. But as this is happening, we're seeing what's happening on the outside. So Cersei is not leaving. We see some children taunt Lancel and lead him down a road, and what is his name? Pycelle, Maester Pycelle, is also carried and killed by children with knives. We see Qyburn has been involved with all this. He's been treating... This has been Qyburn's version of Varys's little birds.
Yeah.
He's been building
exactly.
these allies. But yeah, so basically in like a Guy Fawkes gunpowder plot, there is tons of barrels of wildfire underneath the Sept where they're all locked in. They find out at the last minute. Marjorie realizes at the last minute, like, if she's not here, she doesn't intend to come here.
And Tommen isn't here.
And Tommen isn't there. That's right. Tommen was about to leave, and the mountain prevents him. And yeah, the whole fucking place blows up with everybody inside of it.
And at what point did you realize what was going on?
I think the very first shot where you could see some of the wildfire, that seemed to be what was happening.
Okay.
Let's see. Oh, so that evil bitch Septa Unella, who has been, shame, confess.
Oh yeah, confess.
Cersei has been swearing since day one, like, bitch, I will be the last face you see, which isn't entirely true because of what happened to her. But she's been captured, and Cersei motherfucks her. She's like, oh, no, you're not dying today. You're going to suffer for a long time.
Sweet thing.
Yeah. She brings the Mountain in, who I think takes off his helmet, so that would be the last face she sees.
Well, no, I think the idea was she was not dying. Like, she was just going to have the Mountain keep torturing her forever.
Right.
That's why. Like, I think Cersei still intended to kill her, but it was going to be the Mountain that she was his... Because remember, she's like, he's your god now.
That's right. Your god of pain. Confess. Distraught over Marjorie's death, Tommen walks to the window, and fulfilling the prophecy of the witches, Tommen jumps to his death. And now all three of their kids are killed. Let's do a ranking of best to worst of the Baratheon children. I think it's pretty easy to say. Myrcella is the best. Tommen is the second. Joffrey. That was easy. Everybody
Joffrey,
agrees.
like, way down on the list. Like, there should be children between him and Tommen. Yeah.
In Dorne, Varys meets with Olenna and Ilaria, seeking of the Sands, seeking an alliance between Daenerys and their houses against the Lannisters. And we don't see that full discussion, but it seems very likely that the tides are turning, and now the Lannisters, I mean, for one thing, their king is dead. And now we're going to see what happens with Cersei, but they have no heirs. What is the future of this kingdom? They've pissed off all their allies. The only one that was left was Frey, and Frey is gone now.
Yep. And he wasn't much help either.
No, he wasn't. He was a fucking pain in the ass. Davos confronts Melisandre over Princess Shireen's death, resulting in Jon banishing her. Led by Lyanna Mormont, the Wildlings and the surviving northern houses pledge loyalty to Jon as King of the North.
King of the North!
King of the North! Sansa rebuffs Littlefinger's romantic overtures.
The fact that's even a sentence is a problem.
Yeah, not to mention, this is like right before, he's like making a play at her before everyone's like, it could be me and you on the throne. But then everybody pledges their loyalty to Jon.
Right.
So there goes that. Littlefinger's scheme is not working well. In a vision, this is the big one, Bran sees his father Ned finding his sister Lyanna Stark as she dies after giving birth to Jon Snow during King Robert's rebellion.
Well, this is right before, I believe.
What?
The rebellion.
Right before the rebellion. So, pretty much, if you recall, Lyanna Stark was which Targaryen?
She's not Targaryen.
No, which Targaryen?
Oh, Rhaegar. She was with Rhaegar, the oldest brother.
The oldest brother of Daenerys, Rhaegar Targaryen, had kidnapped Lyanna Stark from Robert and abused the shit out of her, and clearly sired a son. So, the bastard son that Ned Stark had, that almost ruined his fucking marriage with his bitch-ass dumb wife Catelyn, was never his son to begin with. He is a Targaryen. And Jon Snow is also a Stark, which, Jesse's guessy, that's pretty good bloodline for the Iron Throne, I would say. So, we'll see. So, nobody knows this yet. The world itself doesn't know it yet, except for Bran, who hasn't commented on it. We've watched one episode since this. Jaime returns to King's Landing, now that all his children are dead. And Cersei is crowned Queen of the Seven Kingdoms.
All she wanted.
Yeah. But at what cost?
Exactly.
So, not to coin a phrase, but at what cost?
Yeah, yes. Exactly.
Daenerys names Tyrion Hand of the Queen and sails
for
Westeros with the Greyjoys, her armies, and her dragons, leaving Daria, Naharis, and the second sons behind to rule Meereen until new leaders are elected.
Yeah, he really crushed Daria's spirit. She really crushed him.
Yeah, at the last minute. Well, she also knows that, she likes him. They've been fucking around, but she can't marry him.
But she did end up admitting she didn't really like him. She thought she did, and she realized she really felt nothing. She just wanted the crown.
Sometimes you just need some get-you-by dick. You know?
Oh, yeah. I'm just surprised Dario was, so bent out of shape about it.
Well, I mean, he's fucking a queen. She's fucking just some guy.
True. I don't know. He doesn't seem like someone who would have fallen in love like that.
True. But, so, to set the stage now, I think we have to go down the ranking of who's most likely to take the crown.
All right.
Well, actually, we can discuss. It doesn't need to be a ranking because I know I was more thought. Cersei is currently on the Iron Throne.
Right.
With no allies left.
Yeah, as Jaime...
We'll talk about it. That's not a spoiler. In the season 7 premiere, he does more or less say, we've turned away everyone. That's my pubis you just grabbed. Okay. It's okay. Married. So, the big challengers we have now is obviously Daenerys, who may, it looks like, have the backing of the people of Dorne and of Highgarden, who would be her subjects. That would be 2 of the kingdoms, not to mention all of Essos, which...
Yep. And you really need Highgarden, too, because they provide all the food.
They have the food, and they also have a lot of the money.
Yeah.
What does King's Landing have resource-wise?
Right.
Nothing, really. Yep. So, in that regard... we have, I guess, I never considered this. The Night King isn't going for the throne. We know so little about their motivations.
Yeah. Sorry, I see you.
Oh, bending against the thing. So, yeah, we don't know where the Night King is. Jon Snow, now that we know this about him, having much more royal blood than we thought, is very high up on there. Although he doesn't know that yet, and it doesn't seem like he's going for that. He just wants his area.
You could argue Littlefinger.
Littlefinger still has potential because he's a schemer.
He started this whole thing.
So you never know. And somewhere in a dingy little rowboat is fucking Gendry, the last living child of Robert Baratheon, the rebellious king.
Yep.
So, am I missing anyone?
I do not.
Sam Tarly on the Iron Throne.
Nah. He's a Citadel person for sure.
Okay.
I think he'll make a great Grand Maester.
He will make a great Grand Maester. So that's all I have to say.
That's all I got
about this. So yeah, this is Game of Thrones season 6, and join us next time for some disappointment from what I've been told. Season 7 and 8.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
We're married now. Congratulate us. If you would like to congratulate us and show it in a monetary factor,
God.
Venmo at Jesse Dram, JesseDraham. Somebody just John. I'm not gonna say his last name, but John. I know you're not gonna hear this because this is probably not coming out. We'll be divorced by the time this one is out. But sent some money. Must have been listening to an old episode because I haven't been plugging the fucking Venmo lately. But thank you. That's always appreciated. If I'm not even going to make that joke. Guys, thank you. And we'll see you for the disappointments of Season 7 and Season 8.
Brr.
Brr. It's cold in here. There must be some taros in the atmosphere. I said, brrr.
Dun, dun.
Did you know the little black one died in a car crash like 2 years later? That made me so sad.
Oh, yeah, I did know that.